Do you ever catch yourself thinking, oh, it's just a small habit, it can't really hurt me? The truth is, even the tiniest daily choices, done over and over again, can quietly set the stage for something as serious as a stroke. I'm Dr. Michael Harris, and for more than 25 years I've been working with older adults, helping them protect their brains, their hearts, and their independence. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: strokes rarely come out of nowhere. They are almost always the result of silent habits that build up over years. Habits that seem harmless in the moment, but slowly chip away at your health. In today's video, I want to reveal the 3 most dangerous habits that many people over 60 still unknowingly maintain. These aren't rare or complicated medical conditions. They're everyday choices, things you might even be doing right now, that increase your risk dramatically without you realizing it. But here's the good news. Once you identify these habits, you can start to change them. And the results often show up faster than you think. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with practical, science-backed solutions that can reduce your risk, strengthen your brain, and give you back control over your future. So, let me ask you, which of your daily habits might be quietly working against you? Let's find out, starting with the first one. Habit number 1. Sleeping less than 6 hours. Have you ever brushed off a poor night's sleep by saying, "It's fine, I'll catch up later"? Many people do. In fact, most of us underestimate just how vital sleep really is. We treat it like an optional luxury, something we can borrow from when life gets busy. But here's the shocking truth. Consistently sleeping less than 6 hours a night can raise your risk of a stroke by up to 46%. Think about that for a moment. Almost half again as likely to experience one of the most devastating health events of your life, all because of a habit that feels harmless. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's your brain's maintenance shift. During those precious hours, your brain literally takes out the trash, removing toxins, repairing damaged cells, and strengthening the neural connections that protect your memory, coordination, and learning. Skip that process, and you're asking your brain to run on dirty fuel. The consequences build up quietly. Each night of insufficient rest leaves behind toxic residue in your brain's blood vessels. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stays elevated, keeping your body on high alert. That damages artery walls and thickens your blood, creating the perfect environment for clots to form. Over time, this doesn't just threaten your brain. It starts a domino effect. Your hunger and blood sugar hormones fall out of balance. You move less during the day, and you lean on extra cups of coffee just to stay awake. One bad habit triggers several others, all pointing in the same dangerous direction. Let me share a story that may sound familiar. Susan, a 58-year-old bookkeeper from Ohio, used to pride herself on being the 5-hour queen. She woke up at 5:30 every morning to check emails before work, powered through her lunch break at her desk, and stayed up late with the TV to wind down. To keep up with her pace, she drank coffee like water. On the surface, Susan seemed healthy. Her blood pressure was around 128/78. Her cholesterol looked fine, and her glucose levels were under control. But inside, her brain was under silent attack. Susan came to the clinic after an episode of sudden dizziness and confusion. The usual tests didn't reveal much until her sleep patterns were examined. That's when the hidden risk became obvious. Years of short sleep had left her arteries inflamed and vulnerable. Her treatment didn't involve another pill. Instead, the first prescription was a bedtime. She began going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. No excuses, no exceptions. She also removed screens at least 2 hours before bed. Her bedroom was transformed into a sleep sanctuary, dark, cool, and free from distractions. To calm her racing mind, Susan practiced progressive muscle relaxation and deep breathing. The results were remarkable. Within weeks, her energy soared, the dizziness disappeared, and tests showed reduced vascular inflammation. Even her mood improved. She no longer needed 4 cups of coffee to function. Her concentration returned, her memory sharpened, and most importantly, Her brain was finally given the chance to repair itself. And here's what I want you to take away. It is never too late to fix your sleep. Every single night of proper rest begins to reverse years of damage. That's the beauty of it. Your body wants to heal. It just needs the right conditions.
So what can you do?
Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. At the same time, every time. Keep your bedroom dark, quiet, and cool. Avoid heavy meals, caffeine, and alcohol in the evening. Create a simple pre-sleep routine. Gentle breathing, light reading, or even stretching. These aren't luxuries. They're as essential as the food you eat or the exercise you do. Short sleep isn't a badge of honor. It's a ticking time bomb. Don't let today's late nights become tomorrow's medical emergency. Respect your rest. Your brain and your future depend on it. Habit number 2. Self-medicating with NSAIDs. Let's talk about something sitting in almost every medicine cabinet in America. Ibuprofen, naproxen, and other painkillers you can buy at the corner pharmacy. We've all used them. A headache, back pain, sore knees, you pop a pill and move on. They're over the counter, no prescription needed, so they must be safe, right? That's the dangerous myth. The reality is far more sobering. Regular use of NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, can increase your risk of a stroke by as much as 84%. Let that sink in. A medication we casually take for everyday aches can, if misused, quietly set the stage for one of the deadliest events a person can face. Here's why. These drugs work by blocking enzymes called COX-1 and COX-2. That's what reduces inflammation and pain. But it also slashes the production of prostaglandins, compounds your body relies on for many protective functions. One of the most important is prostacyclin, which keeps your arteries relaxed and prevents dangerous clots from forming. Within just 24 hours of taking NSAIDs, your prostacyclin levels can plummet by up to 95%. Think about what that means. Your arteries lose their natural defense system. At the same time, NSAIDs cause your body to hold on to sodium and water, raising your blood pressure. They directly damage the delicate cells lining your blood vessels, making them stiffer and more prone to plaque buildup. And the scariest part? These risks don't take years to show up. Harmful changes can begin in the very first week of regular use. Let me share a story that still sticks with me. Robert, a 63-year-old retired truck driver from Indiana, came to my clinic after suffering a severe hemorrhagic stroke. For years, Robert lived with the aches and pains most of us get with age. Headaches, stiff joints, back soreness. At first, he only took ibuprofen occasionally, but over time it became part of his routine. 400 to 600 milligrams almost every day. On top of that, Robert was already taking a daily aspirin for his heart, enjoyed a couple of drinks in the evening, and had slightly elevated blood pressure. On their own, none of these seemed alarming, but together, they were a recipe for disaster. Each ibuprofen pill chipped away at his artery walls, raised his blood pressure just a little more, and weakened the brain's natural defenses. Until one day, his body couldn't take it anymore. The result was a massive brain bleed, the deadliest kind of stroke. Robert's story isn't rare. I've seen it repeated in different forms. People who thought they were just taking something mild, unaware that every tablet was like a silent blow to their arteries. Now here's the hopeful part. Damage from NSAIDs is cumulative and silent, but it can also be reversed if we act in time. For Robert, the first step was tapering off the medication. Instead of quitting cold turkey, we gradually reduced his reliance over 3 months until he no longer needed NSAIDs at all. But you can't just remove the painkillers, you need healthier replacements. In Robert's case, we built a new routine: gentle stretching and mobility exercises to reduce stiffness, meditation and breathing techniques to lower pain perception, hot and cold packs for relief, and an anti-inflammatory diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and omega-3 fats. We also focused on better sleep, since quality rest naturally reduces pain sensitivity. The change didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. Within 18 months, Robert's vascular health improved significantly. His inflammation markers dropped, his arteries became more flexible, and he regained a quality of life he thought he had lost forever. Most importantly, he had no recurrence of stroke. So what's the big lesson here? Over-the-counter does not mean absolutely safe. NSAIDs were never designed to be part of your daily routine. The safe use is occasional, generally no more than 10 consecutive days. Any longer, and the risks begin to stack up quickly. And be cautious even with so-called natural alternatives. Turmeric, white willow bark, and other herbal anti-inflammatories may sound harmless, but in concentrated supplement form, they can also thin your blood and raise your bleeding risk. Natural doesn't always mean safe. So if you find yourself reaching for ibuprofen every morning, ask yourself, is this really solving the problem, or just masking it while creating a bigger one? Each pill may seem like relief, but in reality, it's a silent strike against your arteries. The key message here is simple. Respect these medications. Use them occasionally, not daily. And when pain persists, don't just cover it up. Look for the root cause. Often, with the right lifestyle adjustments, movement, and diet, you can manage pain without putting your brain at risk. Because in the end, protecting your brain and preventing strokes isn't about avoiding pain. It's about making choices that keep you alive, sharp, and independent for years to come. Habit number 3. Excess sodium intake. When you think of salt, you probably imagine the shaker on your dinner table. But here's the reality. Most of the sodium that harms our health doesn't come from that shaker. It hides in processed foods, instant soups, deli meats, packaged bread, cheese, fast food, and snacks. And while sodium is essential in small amounts, consuming too much is one of the leading silent killers. In fact, nearly 60% of strokes are directly linked to high blood pressure, and sodium is the #1 driver behind it. So what actually happens inside your body when sodium levels creep too high? It starts with fluid retention. Your body holds on to extra water, which increases the total volume of blood pumping through your arteries. More fluid means more pressure. Over time, this constant strain makes your arteries stiffer, raises your systolic blood pressure, and encourages plaque buildup that can clog vessels and cause an ischemic stroke, the kind where blood flow to the brain gets blocked. For those already living with heart conditions or chronic hypertension, the risks are even greater. Fragile blood vessels, weakened by years of high pressure, can rupture. That's when hemorrhagic strokes occur, sudden, devastating, and often fatal. Let me share a story from my practice. Thomas, a 58-year-old warehouse manager from Texas, lived on fast food, instant noodles, and deli sandwiches. He never paid attention to his blood pressure because he felt fine. But one morning, he woke up with a blinding headache, blurry vision, and weakness on his left side. At the hospital, his blood pressure measured a dangerous 190/110. Imaging revealed an ischemic stroke in the right hemisphere of his brain. Treatment was immediate. He was stabilized in the ICU, his blood pressure lowered gradually to prevent further damage, and he began rehabilitation and dietary counseling. The turning point came when Thomas and his family completely overhauled their meals. Out went the frozen dinners and salty snacks. In came fresh vegetables, lean meats, fruits, and whole grains. They discovered how flavorful food could be with garlic, lemon, rosemary, and other herbs instead of salt. 1 year later, Thomas regained much of his daily independence. He could walk, cook, and even return to part-time work. His recovery was a testament to how powerful diet changes can be, not just in preventing another stroke, but in restoring quality of life. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, cut down on processed foods. That's where 70 to 80% of your sodium intake comes from. Cooking at home gives you control over how much salt goes into your meals. Second, swap the salt shaker for flavor enhancers like garlic, onion, lemon juice, pepper, or herbs. These not only add taste, but also offer natural health benefits. Third, make blood pressure monitoring a habit. Having a home blood pressure cuff is like having an early warning system. You catch problems before they become emergencies. And remember, a heart-healthy plate is a brain-healthy plate. Colorful vegetables, fruits, whole grains, fish rich in omega-3s, and lean proteins. These foods don't just lower sodium, they actively strengthen your arteries, improve circulation, and nourish your brain. The message here is simple but powerful. Less salt, more life. Reducing sodium doesn't just cut stroke risk. It sharpens your memory, lowers fatigue, protects your kidneys, and eases strain on your heart. Too much sodium silently wears you down, but each small choice to season wisely adds up to years of better living. So the next time you're about to reach for that frozen pizza or can of soup, pause and ask yourself, is this meal fueling my body or sabotaging it? Your brain, your heart, and your future will thank you for choosing wisely.
So let's take a step back and reflect.
We've uncovered 3 of the most dangerous habits that quietly raise the risk of a stroke: sleeping less than 6 hours a night, misusing over-the-counter painkillers like ibuprofen, and consuming too much sodium hidden in everyday foods. What makes these habits especially dangerous is how silent they are. They don't cause immediate pain. They don't announce themselves with flashing warning signs. Instead, they slowly build up over the years, wearing down your arteries, raising your blood pressure, and setting the stage for life-changing events. By the time a stroke strikes, the damage has already been done. But here's the empowering truth. You are not powerless. The same way these risks build up silently, small daily changes can also work silently in your favor. Choosing to go to bed earlier, cutting back on that extra pill, or seasoning your meals with herbs instead of salt. These may seem like little steps, but together, they can literally save your brain and your independence. Because at the end of the day, your brain and heart health are not determined by one big choice, but by the dozens of small habits you practice every day. And it's never too late to start changing them. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 habits do you struggle with most? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to read them. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit subscribe to VitalAge Health. Here you'll find more science-backed tips to stay strong, sharp, and independent after 60. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.